Welcome to Bled.
Hi guys, welcome to the Lenscap Chronicles. My name's Amanda and I have just spent over a week in the beautiful fairy tale capital city of Slovenia, Ljubljana. If you'd like to see more about that, then click the link to this video. But of course, this video is all about the beautiful Bled. The northwestern corner of Slovenia is home to some beautiful pearls of nature. Alpine lakes, the iconic Vingar Gorge, and the wider Triglav National Park. And of course, the infinitesimally beautiful and popular town of Bled. Bled is a small resort town set in the foothills of the Julian Alps and with the backdrop of the glacial Lake Bled. On a cliff overlooking the lake is the 11th century Bled Castle, which houses a museum, chapel, and printing press. In the centre of the lake is a small island, home to the pilgrimage church of the Assumption of Maria, with its steep staircase and bell tower. This is accessible by a small boat ride from the banks of the town of Bled in a very special boat that I'll tell you more about in a little while. There is no limit to the number of lake and alpine walks available, with the fresh mountain air ready to transport you away from ordinary life. This stunning region is a destination in itself. If you have some extra time, then definitely spend a night or two in Bled exploring all it has to offer. But luckily, it's also accessible from Ljubljana as a day trip, which is what we are doing. This is actually the second time I have done this trip. I love it so much. I cannot wait to get back there. So let's get going and check out the beautiful Bled. Of the beautiful Lake Bled is where you can most incredibly see the castle perched up on its hill. You'll also have views across to the island where we're about to head, and interestingly this lake is only 30 meters deep, so it's really not that deep at all. So for those of you who are up for a traditional boat ride, come join me as we head across to the island in Perched. As you can see by the volume of traffic around me, Bled is extremely popular on the international scene, and it's exponentially increased in tourism over the last few years. After Ljubljana, I'd say it's the next best place to base yourself when in Slovenia, and you will not be disappointed with the number of extremely incredible viewpoints that you'll find at the various locations around this small town. Professional oarsmen have an esteemed vocation that cannot be done by just anyone. The wooden flat-bottom boat is designed according to the concept of the Venetian gondola boat, but it has its own features. It has a painted bow and the stern is widened with a step to enable passengers to enter. The title of the Perched oarsman is handed down from generation to generation, which is why the profession has remained in individual families throughout centuries. Boats are 7 metres long and 2 metres wide, and they ensure the safe navigation for 18 passengers. The Kremšnita boat trip takes roughly 20 minutes to reach the island, depending on where you depart from on the mainland. And I'm now walking around to the main drop-off area where there are 99 steps, baroque steps, to climb to get to the top of the island. And in Slovenian history, if you marry a lady from Slovenia, you have to carry her up the 99 steps. There are a couple of crazy and fun myths and legends on this island, and one of them pertains to the bell on top of the hill. So legend has it that there was a widow who was absolutely devastated after her husband was murdered. So she collected all of her gold and silver and made a bell. She then had some men row the bell out across the lake to the island with the intention of putting it on the island next to the church. However, a massive storm hit and the boat went under and it sunk to the depths of Lake Bled. And to this day, locals will still say they can hear the cries and screams of agony and the bell beneath the lake. She was so devastated that she moved to Rome in a convent, and the Pope made a new bell, which is the current day bell on Bled Island. Here we go, 99 steps to the top. I ain't carrying anyone up here. If you do fancy getting married on Bled Island, it is possible. You'll have to go to the municipality building first, where you'll have the formal part of the wedding, sign the documents, and then you'll come across to the island and have another wedding in the church up here, St. Mary's Church. It's incredibly popular, so you'll definitely need to book ahead. And fellas, if you plan on marrying a lady on the island, you know what you have to do. You'll be getting some pretty sore legs carrying her up those 99 steps. A very popular activity to do on the island is to ring the bell within the church, and this apparently will afford you good luck. Now, it's not cheap, it's around €12 just to go into the church and ring the bell, and that's on top of the €18 it costs to get across in the Kremšnita boat. So generally that's not covered in the cost of your tour. Bled is a very special place, but they definitely make you pay for it. The constant soundtrack of the bells behind me on Lake Bled are all of the tourists who flocked over here to ring the bell for good luck. Lake Bled is the perfect place to stay and base yourself near the Julian Alps. It is so tranquil and you will love your stay here. It's just a 30-minute drive from Ljubljana. The town is so peaceful. Bled is nowhere near complete unless you come to the castle, and the views from the castle are simply spectacular. You'll see the whole way across the lake, across to the main town, and of course the island itself. It's impossible to come to Bled Castle and not try the famous cake Kremšnita. It's a puff pastry, cream, vanilla delight. Amazing. There's also no better location to eat your Kremšnita than overlooking the beautiful Bled Lake and Bled Island. It's an idyllic setting, and guests who visit the castle can choose one of the very quaint white chairs overlooking the lake to enjoy their cake. Make sure to pack some flat shoes when walking around the castle. Guests will be greeted with quite a few steps as they wander around this magnificent medieval fortress that towers 130 metres above Bled Lake. For 800 years, it was the seat of the bishops of Brixen. However, much of what stands here today is from the 16th century. Exploring the castle should take you around about an hour, but do factor in the time it'll take you to enjoy your Kremšnita cream cake, which is absolutely delicious. There are a lot of things to see up here though. There's a vinoteca, there's a honey shop, Ljubljana has huge roots in beekeeping, and there's of course the cafe where you will find your Kremšnita and a lot of historical information in and around the buildings themselves. The frescoes within the 16th century Gothic chapel are breathtaking and contain paintings of castle donor Henry II and his wife Kunigunda on either side of the main altar. Of course, you'll want to spend some time on the terraces taking some of your best pictures of Bled. Among the museum holdings, there's a large collection of armour, weapons and jewellery. The castle, which is built on 2 levels, houses a museum collection that traces the lake's history from its earliest times to the development of Bled as a resort in the 19th century. Perhaps one of the most interesting areas of the castle is the printing press, a Gutenberg replica which guests can use to print a souvenir certificate with a little help from the master printer, of course. Around 1500 AD, the administrator of Bled Castle was Hartmann Kray, who was not a kind master. Peasants had minimal rights and were brutally oppressed. One day, Kray disappeared without a trace. There were rumours that he had been killed by robbers, or even in fact by the peasants. But nothing was ever proven. Kray was never to be seen again. His wife, Polyxena, who also ruled with a firm hand, grieved deeply. In her grief, the widow collected all the gold and silver she had stored in her chest to have it cast into a bell. Is this story sounding familiar? Yes, she was the same lady who ordered the boatman to take the bell to Bled Island in honour of her husband. Next stop, the lake. There are many gorgeous restaurants and cafes to enjoy in Bled, but my favourite, or one of my favourites, is Villa Presserin, which overlooks the water, and it's so gorgeous. They often have live music, singers, and it's such a vibe. Let's go and check it out. Bled Lake is truly charming and will really help you appreciate both the size of the lake but also the island from different perspectives. It's really lovely, and the water is so clear that you can actually see many of the plants growing inside the lake. The colour of the water on Bled Lake is simply stunning. This boat looks like it's floating, and the colour will change depending on where you are around the lake. It's possible to walk around the lake. It'll take roughly 1.5 to 2 hours depending on fitness, but worth doing if you have the time, and a super peaceful, relaxing walk at that. In Slovenia, the lake is used for various challenges and competitions, including a rowing race that is 2 kilometers long and very prestigious to win. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it's given you a taste of what you can expect in the charming town of Bled. If you've been before, then let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.